Om Namo Narayana, Jai Swami Narayan, Namaste. We are looking at the lecture by Swami Vivekananda called the Mundaka Upanishad. So I'm just going to dive right in here because in the last talk I just went off on some things of mine, feelings and things that I feel very strongly about. So we're going to dive right in. Then comes what Anguirus taught. This is the truth, O gentle one, as from a mass of burning flame myriads of sparks come out of the same nature as the fire, even so from the unchangeable one all these forms, all these ideas, all this creation come out, and unto him creation goes back. But the eternal one is everlasting, formless, without beginning, inside and outside of every being, beyond all life, beyond all mind, the pure one, beyond even the unchangeable, beyond everything. From him is born the vital principle, from him comes the mind, from him come all organs of the senses, from him are the air, light, water, and this earth which holds all beings. These heavens are, as it were, his head, his eyes, the sun and moon. The cardinal points are, as it were, his ears. The eternal knowledge of the Vedas is, as it were, his manifested speech. His life is the air. His heart is this universe. His feet the world. He is the eternal self of every being. From him have come the different Vedas. From him have come the gods of the Sadyas. From the latter are superior men, much higher than ordinary men, and very much like the gods. From him are all men. From him are all animals. From him is all life. From him all the forces in the mind. From him all truth, all chastity. The 7 organs are also from him. The 7 objects of perception are from him. The 7 actions of perception are from him. From him are the 7 worlds in which the life currents flow. From him are all these seas and oceans. From him are all the rivers that roll into the sea. From him are all the plants and all the liquids. He is the inside. He is the inner soul of every being. This great Purusha, this great one, he is this universe. He is the work. He is the sacrifice. He is Brahma, and he is the Trinity. He who knows him frees his own soul from the bond of ignorance and becomes free. He is the bright one. He is inside every human soul. From him are all name and form. All animals and men are from him. He is the one supreme. He who knows him becomes free. Now, how to know him? Take this bow, which is the Upanishad, the knowledge of the Vedanta. Place upon that bow the sharpened arrow of worship. Struck that bow by what? By making the mind of the same form as he. By knowing that you are he. Thus strike it all. Strike it at that Brahman with this bow. This one is the bow. This human mind is the arrow. Brahma is the object which we want to hit. This object is to be hit by concentrating the mind, and just when the arrow has hit its mark, the arrow penetrates into the object and becomes one with it in a unity. Even so, this soul, the arrow, is to be thrown upon the object so that it will become one with it. In whom are the heavens, this earth and the skies, in whom are the mind and all that lives. In the Upanishads, there are certain passages which are called the great words. These are utterances called the Mahavakya. They are Prajnanam Brahma, or consciousness is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Tattvam Asi, that thou art. And Ayam Atma Brahma, this self is Brahma. These are often quoted and referred to many, many times. To continue with the Upanishad. In him, that one, in him alone, the Atman, exist all other worlds. What is the use of all other talk? Know him alone. This is the bridge over this life to reach universality. So in the Upanishad, Anguirus goes on to show a practical way. So far it has been very figurative. It reads, Just as all the spokes of a wheel meet at the axle, even so in this body is that place from which all the arteries flow and which they all meet. There meditate upon the Om that is in the heart. May you succeed. May the gentle one with success attain the goal. May you go beyond all darkness to Him who is omniscient, the all-knowing. His glory is in heaven, on earth, and everywhere. He who has become the mind, the prana, he who is the leader in the body, he who is established in the food, the energy of life. By supreme knowledge the sages see Him whose nature is bliss, who shines as immortality. All the knots of the heart will be cut asunder. All darkness will vanish forever when you have seen the truth. So, in the Upanishads, there are certain passages which are called the Great Words, or Mahavakya. They are little utterances, and they go like this. Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness is Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. Tattvam Asi. That thou art. And Ayam Atma Brahma. This self is Brahma. You can see all these in what I just read to you. There are also two words. One is jhana and the other is vijnana. Jhana may be translated as science. So this is intellectual knowledge. And vijnana is realization. God cannot be perceived by intellectual knowledge. He who has realized the self by that supreme knowledge, what will become of that man? How can you have any doubts? How foolish and childish you will think these fights and quarrels of different sciences and different philosophies are. You will smile at them. All doubts will vanish, and all work will go away. All work will vanish when you have the realization. And we will pause here, as this is a good place to pause. Now making this video a little shorter. For once, I have no criticism of his philosophy or anything he says, other than he did say his glory is in heaven, on earth, and everywhere. Sounds very Christian, but we already discussed that. But he's right. You will not have realization by intellectual knowledge alone. But I believe a lot of people go that route. And I believe a lot of people think that just by thinking, that's it, they're good to go. And just by researching and learning and knowing the truth and researching the truth, I always see these people online, they're like, you have your history wrong. This is what really happened. They think they'll realize God. But what happens? They just end up reading more books and research more. No, I was wrong about that. There's more information. Or we've just had this archaeological discovery or this or whatever. Because you're never done with the intellectual growth. You're never done with knowledge. I speak from experience. When I was young, I thought that if I read as much as I possibly could, I would realize God. I also believed that if I read as many classic novels as I could get my hands on, we're talking Herman Melville classic, we're talking Bram Stoker classic, pre-1960s. If I could read all the great novels of literature, I would have a realization and be a great writer. I read Dante's Inferno once, in an entire day. I don't think it made me a better writer, nor did I get any realization from it. So then I picked up another book, forget what that book is. Exactly, that's the point, I forgot. And I have read so much about different religions, and when I was Christian, or trying to be Christian, the way I approached it was by reading as much about Christianity as I could. I was in a Presbyterian church, so I read all about John Knox. What happened? I left the church, because I didn't believe. And it didn't make me believe. But I could hold my own argument. But I was a fraud. I was a sham, because I had no feeling at all. Eventually I realized that jhana, just that knowledge, can't be done alone. You have to have the realization. You have to work with the realization. You have to have both. You have to put your heart and your soul into it. You can't just regurgitate facts. So he's right. I believe he's right. If you're seeking God through a dictionary, you won't find God there. But if you digest the dictionary and you make it your heart and your soul, figuratively, please don't need a book, something may happen. Okay. That's enough. I got my cup of coffee in hand. So I'm going to thank you for watching. And as always, you know how to support this channel. Down below there's a link. I'm an author of lots of different things. If you wish to reach out, email, please do. Comments, likes, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you're listening on one of my other forums, excellent. Until next time, when we continue this particular talk by Swami Vivekananda, Jai Swami Narayan, Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.